Hey guys, it's QuickyBaby and welcome back to World of Tanks. This time we are watching Amerikansky playing in the brand new reward tank, the T-55A. This is the third tier of reward, a tank which I have yet to get. I'm slowly working my way through the missions towards it. It is a tier 9 German medium tank. Now, it's a reward tank, which means that you can use crew from other vehicles of the same nation and class inside it. So for example, if you've got an E50M crew or a Panther crew, you can easily put them in the T-55A without having any penalties. But it does not make bonus credits. Now the last video that I did was on the T-54, that tier 9 Soviet medium tank. And the T-55A has a very similar, if not identical, turret to the T-54. However, its hull armor is not the same. It is basically the hull of a T-62A. And as you know, if you watch that video, the T-62A's hull is 20 millimeters thinner than the T-54. And so what that means is that the T-55A basically gets the same fantastic turret, but worse hull armor than tier 9. Now it only gets a choice of one gun. Well, in fact, there's no choice at all in it. You have to use the gun that I was talking about in the last video. This 100mm with 201mm of penetration on its standard rounds and 330mm of penetration on its heat rounds. But it's just slightly better. Now, when the test server first came out, and if you watched my T-55A preview video a long time ago, you will have noticed me talking about getting less gun depression than the T-54. However, that's not the case. In later iterations of the test server, they buffed it up to the same level of the T-54, 5 degrees. However, this tank aims faster, it turns its turret faster, and I believe its aim time is 2.1 seconds instead of the 2.3 that you get on the T-54. And its rate of fire is also marginally better as well. And so what that means is that basically, we've got a T-54 with better gun performance. So what's the downside? Well, obviously, apart from losing a hell of a lot of armor on your front plate, 20mm worth, you've also got less engine power than the T-54, and the tank is also heavier. And it's a lot of engine power you lose. I think it's 180, but I could be mistaken there. So what that means is the T-55A does accelerate less quickly than the T-54. But, of course, Wargaming have got hidden stats, the ground resistances, and that is why the T-62A is relatively fast. Holy moly, that was lucky. He bounced a side shot from an Object 704 off the back of his turret. What a result there as he takes down the Comet. Now he wants to try and close the distance against the Object 704, stops to put a shot in, tries to get around the corner, but he's not so lucky with the second shot, wrecking the side of his tank before the Foch behind him, the tier 9 French tank destroyer, managed to take out that tier 9 Soviet tank destroyer on the enemy team. And boy, you do not want to get shot by that BL-10 very much. So far, Amerikansky has managed to pick up 2,600 damage and a couple of kills. His team have wilted to the pressure of the tier 9 German heavy tanks, the E-75s, played by very good players down the other flank. And sorry you missed the kill there on that Leopard prototype as Amerikansky picks up his third kill, picking him apart. Now it looks like he is still learning the streets of Stalingrad, as am I. I keep doing the same kind of shots where I think, oh, I've got a shot through that gap. And it can be very deceptive. So just to touch back on the ground resistances that I was talking about, Wargaming have got hidden stats, which make the T-62A very mobile, even though it is quite a heavy tank for its engine power. And the ground resistances on the T-55A are so much better than on the T-54, which helps to mitigate the disadvantage that it has with regards to its engine power. Now, I don't know what this E-75 is doing. Maybe he's tracked Maybe he's just decided that he needs to try and put pressure on the cap circle. But he got picked apart there. The artillery hunting down Amerikansky puts another shot into him, putting him within a whisker of his remaining hit points, 226, and forcing him to use his repair kit to get out of harm's way quickly. Now the E-75 pulls back here, and Amerikansky quickly realizes that he has to get out of trouble. He bounces a shot off his turret there from the T-43 and re-engages his targets. He knows that that Tier 7 French tank destroyer is dead. There's nothing that he could have done there against the E-75 with the T-43 supporting him, in conjunction with the artillery, 3 artillery on the enemy team, who would easily have been able to dump shells down there. So he's doing the intelligent thing. He's going hunting the artillery. He's 1 versus... Wow, 1 versus 6 at the moment. Make that 1 versus 5 as he takes out one of the Tier 8 artillery. Now it goes without saying that the T-55A does not get special matchmaking. It can meet, obviously, a range from Tier 7 to Tier 10 tanks. And it doesn't look like that poor engine power is doing this tank any trouble right now. So he has a quick look at the T-28 prototype, establishes that the T-28 prototype is AFK, and then goes to work on the enemy Tier 9 turreted artillery, the M53-55, who had already picked up 2 kills so far this game. That is a horrible artillery to try and deal with at these kind of ranges. The turret and the track traverse give it amazing ability to re-engage its targets from its side. So Amerikansky gets to feast on an AFK T-28 prototype and bounces another shot from behind from the T-43 off the side of his turret. He spots another artillery aiming at him and bounces yet another shell from the T-43 as the artillery narrowly misses his tank. Thankfully, there's some cover in the cap circle, however, and the T-43 is quickly realizing that he is messing with the wrong Tier 9 medium tank. Check out the rate of fire on this gun. That shot went a little wide, but it tracked the target, keeping him still to finish him off. And there goes the last of Amerikansky's AP rounds. Now he is firing heat, so he's just got an upgrade of penetration from 200 to 330, which is perfect to deal with the threat of the E-75 on the enemy team, who has got 4 kills and is statistically a very strong player. Hunting down another Tier 8 artillery, securing Amerikansky the Pascusi's medal? Yeah, it must be that. What a result. And a 1 versus 6 when he was within a 1 shot of his life being depleted. Is now a 1 versus 2, although we've got to factor in that the T-28 prototype was AFK, but nevertheless going into the base, taking out 3 artillery, an AFK tank and a T-43 before the Tiger or the E-75 were able to catch him. It's a fantastic result. And so now we've got to be thinking, where is the Tiger in the E-75? Well, the enemy team was so confident that they decided not to cap. They decided to go after him. Maybe they really want their kill on a T-55A, the new reward tank. A lot of them at the beginning of the game were saying this is the first time that they had seen one in a battle. And I have to admit, I've yet to see one in a battle as well. So they're very unique tanks, especially at the moment. Got by either very active or highly skilled players. So that's why it's a pleasure to commentate on this replay. And we can see that the T-55A is having no trouble keeping up with its top speed, using its excellent track traverse around Stalingrad. Even though its engine power is less than T-54, it can get up to its 50 km/h top speed. So he takes 1 shot from the Tiger and whiffs a shot over his tank. Now he's going to try and side-scrape. He side-scrapes well there, and the Tiger bounces off him. He's trying to side-scrape some more. Bounces another shell and finishes off the Tiger. Great work there. Now, the side armor on this tank is just as good as the T-54, so really it's just the front plate that is weaker. Now he's going to change his position. What he's doing here is he realizes, okay, the E-75 knows where I am. It's time to get out of there and re-establish a position and keep an eye out for where he could be. One of the weaknesses of the T-55A that I didn't mention was that its top speed is lower than the T-54 actually. It's 50 kilometers an hour, whereas the T-54 is, I believe, 56 kilometers an hour. So what this means is that it's pretty much the same as the T-62A and the Object 140 comparison. The Object 140 is faster, but the T-62A has better turret armor. But it's kind of different here because the turret armor is the same between the two tanks, but there's no doubt that the T-54 will get around quicker. Maybe not on soft terrain though, because I did check out the ground resistances, and on soft terrain the T-55A goes through it like butter. Just confirming that this is indeed a German tank. There we can see the National People's Army, I believe, logo from East Germany when it was inside the Soviet Union. And that's how this tank is effectively German. That's what makes it so unique and sought after. So Amerikansky is on 8,300 damage, and even if we take away the AFK T-28 prototype, he's still over 7,000. He's got 10 kills. What a result so far. And right now, he's just trying to hunt down the enemy Tier 9 German heavy tank. Where is that E-75? Now, usually these Kolobanov's medals are played against players which are infinitely worse than the player, but right now, this is literally a duel. The E-75 is a horrendously strong tank. How can the T-55A deal with him? He's pretty much been all over Stalingrad now. It's a wild goose chase, and I bet you that Amerikansky's heart was racing right now. If I was him, I have to admit, when it comes down to a Kolobanov's medal and winning 1 versus 6, your palms do get sweaty. Your heart does start to elevate. I can feel mine elevating right now just watching this. I don't know when the E-75 is going to pop out. Could be round any corner. It's a problem on Stalingrad. If I was playing in a medium tank versus a heavy tank, generally what I would try and do is make use of pushes and hopefully a better view range. Which actually the T-55A does have an advantage in view range by 5 meters. This tank has got 395 meters view range, whereas the T-54 has got 390. So that will make the tank able to get up to probably view range cap if you use a premium consumable a lot like Amerikansky is using. This is going to be a very expensive tank to run though. 1,000 credits per its standard round, maybe 1,200, maybe 4k to 5k on the heat rounds as well. And with the chocolate, this is not going to bode well, but let's not worry about that right now as Amerikansky has spotted the E-75 and he didn't get seen himself. He has got 6th sense. He has an opportunity to ambush the E-75. How is he going to try and do this? He's got a minute left on the game. Spots the lower plate of the E-75. The E-75 does not spot him. Can't see him quite yet. Because he puts 1 into the front of his tank. The E-75 obviously doesn't have 6th sense and decides he doesn't know where the T-55A is. Finally spots him. And Amerikansky has managed to get 2 shots off. He's going to try and side scrape an E-75. The E-75 is angling his tank well as well. That's not going to go in there, mate. The E-75 bounces. Amerikansky pulls forwards. Oh no, heat rounds don't go through pillars. They get absorbed by pillars. Amerikansky puts a shot. Oh, it hits the wall. He's got 2 shots left. 10 seconds. 10 seconds. Oh my God. Oh, the pain. What a heartbreak. What a fantastic duel at the end of this game where one Tier 9 German tank was able to take out the other brand new Tier 9 German tank. Amerikansky, my heart goes out to you. This was an amazing carry, and you were a whisker away from getting a Kolobanov's medal and securing the victory for your team, almost single-handed. I'm sure that if the E-75 hadn't eluded you for so long, you would have probably been able to handle the situation at the end of the game in a much more graceful manner. But it was probably a case of you having 10 seconds left that forced you to make your move and allowed the E-75 to get your side armor, which, as we can see when the shot was taken from about here, was angled just a little bit too much for the 80mm of side armor on the T-55A. 122,000 credits, 2,866 experience, and that is not for a double, obviously, because he lost. As well as, unsurprisingly, the high caliber medal, a Pool's medal for getting 10 kills, and a Pascusi's medal for killing those 3 artillery. That was 1,820 base experience and exactly 9,000 damage. The tank received nearly 3,500 potential damage before it got taken out. And we got to see exactly what the T-55A / T-54 / any of the high-tier Soviet medium tanks are good for. Brawling, especially so on a city map such as Stalingrad. Nevertheless, well played to the E-75 on the enemy team. Johnny CS managed to tear through a flank and take out our hero at the end of the game, albeit doing half of what Amerikansky was able to achieve during the game, and got a third less experience as well, even though he was on the winning team. Amerikansky, thank you so much for sending me this replay. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and it makes me want to race on to get my T-55A. And my condolences that you had to endure such a heartbreak, but even losing a game like this, it's still an incredible round. And if you guys enjoyed this too, please consider giving the video a like down below. It really helps the channel out. And if this replay has sparked your interest in the T-55A, then simply click up here and you can go through to a preview of it that I did several months ago from the test server. And let me know in the comments down below what you think about the new event tanks that Wargaming are releasing. Have you got the Stug Fear? Do you think it's a good vehicle? Have you got the T-28 HTC? Do you think that's a good vehicle? Maybe there's some of you out there who have at least fought against a T-55A and maybe even some owners. What do you think of them? Do you think they've been implemented into the game well? Do you think they're balanced compared to their counterparts? I'd be interested to know what you guys think. And as always, guys, thank you so much for watching. You've been epic, and hopefully I'll see you soon.